Howdy music lovers, Tom from Blakgraz here. That was just a small section of Get On by Blakgraz. Fun song to play with my favorite part, the solo at the end. Make sure you check that out online, but also even better, come to a live show because it's a fun song to dance to. It gets people up every single time. I'm wearing my Riverside t-shirt today. Howdy to everybody up there in Millsboro, Delaware. Miss y'all. This is one of many cool shirts I've gotten from places that I've played at. Just kind of a hobby now is to collect shirts from each place. Also, I'm playing Sandy today. This is my custom build. I don't know. Oh, I guess it's a Wolf is what it was called when he made this. Custom build out of Austin, Texas. Vaughn Shannon. Very, very cool guitar. And playing that today for y'all. And I wanted to talk today about what's going on with Rufus. He is an ongoing project, and I got some more stuff taken care of yesterday, which was really nice. Some small stuff and some big stuff. The biggest one was basically draining the air tanks and being able to put on a new air tank drain valve. With an air system on a truck or on a camper like this, it's air over hydraulic brakes as well as air suspension, and it's all the same system. So that's why when we had trouble in Kentucky, in Frankfort, Kentucky, the compressor was such an important thing. Without the ability to get the air suspension up, you can't turn the wheels or they grind on the inside of the wheel well. So basically I've been under there many, many times, and I knew that from one of the last places that we had stuff fixed, there was a leak over on the driver's side in one of the trees that comes down from the brake pedal. And they had replaced that, but they also found two other spots where there were leaks, or three leaks I think it was. One on the drain valve for the air tank on the driver's side, and then two other small, very small leaks on the cross, the brass cross that I had put in, because it just was, that one that was challenging. I had to bring it away from the tank so that it had enough room to turn the double check valve tight enough for it to just be able to stay on even. Funny thing about that is when we first put all that stuff on, it would air up and it would whistle, almost like it was vibrating, but now I think everything's settled in and so it stopped whistling, as a side note. But basically I knew that drain valve on the driver's side air tank was old because I had taken it from I had put two new ones in on the passenger side tank, one which was easy to get to, and then one in the back that Marty from Loves in Ozark, Alabama, had suggested putting the new one in the hard spot to get back to, because the tank is underneath the air conditioning radiator for the front air conditioning. So you have to reach up inside and work like this, basically underneath Rufus already and reaching up in between there. So I had replaced those two so they would be new, and he said leave the old one, because I only had two at the time, leave the old one out where it's going to be easy to get to when you get a new one finally. They're only $15 items, so it was I remembered to get one at a Napa, and had it with me for a few days, and finally yesterday I was like, you know what, screw this, I have to take out the inverter, which is the other part of what I did yesterday, to get the new inverter in to replace it. So I might as well just drain the tanks while I'm at it. So I drained the tanks, took the old valve out, put on the new valve, and of course it worked great. It was super, super easy, didn't take very long. So as far as the inverter, what is that about? Well, if you haven't seen the videos from before, we bought a modulated sine inverter, which takes DC and turns it into AC current for inside the cabin. And we basically want to plug in our Starlink up here and then have this plug over here available for electricity too while we're driving, and then when we're just we're dry camping, excuse me, without external power, so that we can tap into the cabin battery if we need to. That has been working great, by the way. The new battery is just awesome. We've discovered a new challenge though with the generator. For some reason the AC from the generator is not charging the cabin battery through the converter, so I have to do some what's it called, figuring out a mystery, solving a mystery of why there's no
mind-boggling mystery.
Yeah, why there's no 110 AC going to the converter from the generator. It is running the plugs here inside the cabin, but it's not making its way over to the converter, and I'm not sure why, so I got to figure that out. I'll trace that down. Anyway, back to the inverter. It's a modulated sine inverter that we bought, which is DC to AC, which means that it's not a smooth wave of electricity. It's little tiny squares. I don't know why you would make that in the first place, because you can't run electronics on it, but supposedly you can run tools and other things on it, and it's not such a big deal. Well, we needed it for electronics, so as soon as we learned that and it was on the box and such, we're like, oh shoot, this won't work. So we're going up to Calera on Sunday, I think it is, to get the new one to swap out from the modulated sine to a pure sine wave. We might have to pay a little bit more for the pure sine wave, but that way it doesn't generate heat in the all the electronics plugs that we want to use for the Starlink. I mean, you could actually hear it buzzing. So anyway, my point is, don't use modulated sine inverter from DC to AC for any electronics. It'll burn up your stuff. It generates a lot of heat, and it will destroy your equipment over time. That's what we read anyway.
Especially anything that has like a computer brain or
real sensitive
electronics.
Yeah. So we're getting on Sunday one that is a smooth sine inverter, so I'll be putting that in. So to get ready for that, I took out the old one and taped off the ends of the two cables so that they don't short out anywhere. Didn't take very long to do that either. The other thing that I did, which is really nice, I've been thinking about for a long time, is the front hood of Rufus. When he's driving down the road, behind it are electronics. You know, it's got a little plastic case, but there's still a lot of wires and the generator and stuff back there that can be exposed to when rain starts coming in, especially if it rains really hard. At one time, I think it was in Delaware. Was it Delaware?
Going from Maryland to Delaware, yeah.
Right. It started pouring down rain, but I couldn't stop because we needed to get there by a certain time to load in. That was the parking lot in the video, if you saw it, where when we got there, it was flooded. I had to park the wheels halfway into the water because the parking lot was so flooded, just to be able to get the gear out and into the parking lot. Fortunately, by the time we were done loading out, the water had receded a little bit. The creek or whatever that was flooding.
No, it wasn't a creek, it was marsh. So it was high tide at the same time of that heavy rain. So that's why it was so heavily flooded.
So it was high tide plus heavy rain in a marsh, and so the parking lot was flooded. By the time I was done loading, though, it had backed down enough that I could put myself into a parking spot so that I didn't block everybody from being able to get in and out. Which, of course, they're looking at the flood and going, hey, I don't want to park here. You know, so they were parking around the front or parking on other parts of the road that were dry. But anyway, ever since that time, because what happened when we were driving down the road, we got there, and all of a sudden the generator's being weird, the circuits are being weird. It took several days for everything to dry out enough that even the heat would work. Something had shorted out so bad from the moisture that a lot of stuff in Rufus just wouldn't work. So what I did is I had some leftover winterization foam for inside of a door sealant insulation, and it's sticky on one side. So I cleaned the top of the opening for the hood, put that insulation in, and then when it closes, it's just a little bit of extra pressure, but not too much on the hinges that it'll damage the fiberglass. So what that does now is when the rain hits the front of Rufus, it won't go in over that hood and down into directly in to hit the generator and all the wires and that circuit box. It's got a bunch of fuses and breakers and such in it with a plastic front in front of it. Now it's designed to get wet in there, but not soaked, right? Not completely drenched.
It's water resistant,
right? Not
submerging,
right? Plus, I noticed on the DC connection from the battery, there's just a bolt with like about 5 or 6 different main DC wires coming in to supply powers to other parts of Rufus. Some of the wires don't have something like, when you put a wire onto a bolt like that, you're supposed to have an I-ring, and then the I-ring has the insulation and a heat seal or tape, at least electrical tape, so that the wire isn't exposed. Well, there's a couple of those things that have wire exposed, so that's another project. I have to take that apart and seal up those wires. I haven't done that yet, but I got that insulation on the top of the hood so that the water won't come in over the top. Now, it still could come in through the bottom, blowing in, and of course you want air coming up through the bottom of Rufus too, because, well, for the generator and for airflow, for the air coming into the cabin and such. but you don't need rain coming in through the top of the hood. And it was a pretty big space at the top of the hood, so there was a lot that could get through. So now this insulation is in place and it's stopping it from coming through. It's much, much better. So that was the other thing. So when I did the inverter, I had to take apart or disconnect the cabin battery. So I cleaned stuff off, cleaned off the batteries, just double checked all the connections there, took out the inverter, put the new air tank valve in, and then put in that new seal on the front hood. So it was nice to be able to have a little bit of time to focus on getting these smaller things done, because I'd bought the valve, I had the valve, I knew it would only take a few minutes to do it. And of course the inverter had to come out anyway before Sunday, so now it's out and ready to go. And it was just nice to have a little bit of time getting under there and looking at stuff and making sure everything is in order, everything's functioning properly. Every time we lift up camp, I do 2 walk-arounds, and I get up on top of him and look. Starlink, the mount has been working great. Every time we plug it in and turn it on, it works wonderfully, and that's even with being parked next to a couple trees.
I want to mention it's the mount that came directly from Starlink themselves too. Wasn't a secondary one. I think it was only like $35, and the angle of it too actually gives you more clearance than the kickstand that is on the back of it too.
Yeah, the kickstand on the Starlink antenna actually had a steeper angle. The mount itself on top of Rufus is much flatter, so it's going more straight up to the sky.
More aerodynamic too then for with mounting it and then driving with aerodynamics.
Yeah, and that mount is from Starlink, so it's bolted in there pretty good. And we were real pleased to find that the screws that they sent us held very strongly into the wood that we have in our roof without having to use. We were going to use bolts that went in and flipped open like in drywall or on a thin wall to hold it in place,
like an anchor. But
that would have meant a bigger hole, and I didn't really want to make a bigger hole. So I tried their bolts first, and with 4 of them, they were big, nice, big, strong bolts with a tight point. I just did a thin guide hole and then drilled them in, and it held really tight. And so far it's been doing great. And we don't drive faster than 70 miles an hour because the front tires are rated for only 75. So even if I was going 70 and I get up to 75, I'm safe. But anything over that, I wouldn't want to go any faster. He's too big. He's old. It's hard to slow him down fast, so we just drive everywhere slow.
Anything this big it's not smart to go over 70.
Well, I mean, that's up to whoever owns it and however well they put their camper or truck together. The way Rufus is, I'm comfortable driving him slow, and he's big enough that if I do go slow, people just have to wait for me. They either wait till they can get around, or they wait till I get past and they can, turn or whatever. So it's just better safe than sorry. That's a lot of what happened though, and it was really nice to get that stuff done, because every time we fix something on Rufus, we know that it's going to last for a while, and that's comforting too, because we've been spending almost all of the money we make coming from shows for the last year and a half has been going back into fixing Rufus to keep him rolling and keeping us fed and gas in the tank. That's basically it. We've skimped on a lot of things. We don't have new shoes or new clothes, or we need to buy sheets really bad. So yeah, it's good, because now these things are starting to become not only taken care of, but less of an expense for us, so that we can actually start doing other stuff, like going to an RV park and relaxing for a couple days, or maybe get a new t-shirt or new socks. I
don't think you need new t-shirts, according to Taylor.
Right. I
At the rate that you're going.
T-shirts. That's
maybe new socks.
New socks I definitely need. But that's kind of what's going on with Rufus. So I figured I'd update everybody, especially anybody who's interested in trying to do the same thing, either as a musician or even just because you like the idea of camping. It is a labor of love, and Rufus takes good care of us when he's running, so I don't mind spending the time and money taking care of him. So I hope everybody, I hope that helped somebody, or at least you enjoyed hearing about what's going on with us. Blakgraz on the road into year 2 and just on fire. Thanks so much to everybody for all the wonderful comments, especially the encouraging comments. There's so many people now saying really supportive things and encouraging things like, wow, this is really good music, or you play well, or you're doing a really good job, keep going, or you're going to blow up, or things like that. That means so much, because when you're out here just the two of us late at night and you start questioning, are we doing the right things? Is this really going to work? Is this, I don't know, is this going to happen or not? When people say stuff like that, it makes all the difference in the world. So we love you and thank you so much for everything. Thanks for watching this far. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. As always, make sure you check out the links down below. We're on every social media platform you can think of and every streaming platform you can think of. Make sure you check out our CDs on sale online as well. We got merch online for sale, but even better, at a live show, we have handmade t-shirts, and we've got emotional support beverage koozies, Blakgraz style, emotional support beverage snuggies or koozie, whatever you want to call it, for sale at shows too. And if you're at a show, not only will I shake your hand and probably learn your name, but you'd have the chance to win one for free. So I look forward to seeing everybody out at a show, and until next time,